All right, this message is for the people that is going through breakups, emotional trauma, any type of pain you could think of. I want to talk about active healing and being stagnant within your grief. For a long time, I was told it's okay to be in pain, but don't stay in your pain for too long. And also, I didn't feel like I was healing if I didn't feel every single emotion, every single scenario, conversation, everything that ever happened with when it came to me in that situation. And then as I grew older, I discovered active healing where I knew and I resonated that I was in pain. I resonated that I was going through depression and I was crying and I was grieving. But I also subconsciously knew I had to keep moving forward through my grief. Now, I'm not saying do not grieve. I'm saying if you are grieving, move forward to the next stage appropriately. I feel like a lot of us, we get so caught in the depression, in the sadness, in the issue that we rather just sit in it and let it muster and let it consume us to the point where we don't know how to get out. We become so comfortable in our trauma that we don't even realize that it's misery. And a lot of people, for me, for example, I didn't know how to continuously move. I didn't know how to not think about the situation, not think about the person, not think about the tears and the pain and the feelings that my body was naturally producing. So what I did was I knew that eventually one day, even if it wasn't today, I wanted to be happy. I wanted to smile. I wanted to get past whatever I was going through. I wanted to end up at the finish line and be happy with myself, with my growth, with how much I evolved. And I realized changing the way I spoke to myself, changing the vocabulary, instead of being like, I'm sad, I'm suicidal, I want to constantly think about this person. I want to constantly be in the memories this person had. Because what people don't understand is if you're saying I'm sad, if you're saying I'm depressed, I'm suicidal, what is your brain going to do? It's going to say, okay, you're suicidal. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 ways how to kill yourself. Oh, you're sad. Here's 13 thoughts that are going to help you be sad. But instead, if you change your thoughts and say, hey, I want to heal, I want to move through this, I want to think about X, Y, and Z, your brain will give you the file that you asked for. In a lot of ways, people don't realize our brains are computers. Whatever you think, it is going to provide you information of what your thought selected. And if you think of it in that way of healing, of if I don't think of a happy memory of this previous situation, I won't receive the file for it. But if I think of a situation from this situation, then I'm going to be presented with hundreds of ideas from this scenario. I would change my thoughts and I'll be like, what can I do today to not think about this person? What can I do today to make myself smile? What can I do today to eliminate the pain that I had yesterday and make it least today? How can I constantly grow? What can I do that's going to bring me comfort and joy instead of trauma and pain? And when I noticed the vocabulary of how I spoke to myself with abundance instead of with hopelessness changed, I became happier. I don't know if you're religious. I don't know if you are a person that believes in a higher being, believes in the universe or astrology or in the crystals or whatever. But for me personally, I believe in God. And so I walked in my faith. And it got to a point where I will have to talk to God 45, 50, 70 times a day. I know he was tired of me. And I would say anything and everything to get myself through the day while walking alongside him. God, I'm feeling sad. Walk through me to a happy path. God, I am feeling depressed. I am feeling like I want to cry. I am feeling unworthy. Provide me with the substance and resources I need. Quote, I need to heal. See, the problem is when it comes to us people that are heartbroken, that are grieving, we always ask for the things we want. Baby, you don't want your ex in your life. You want your ex because you want them to stop the pain that is currently going on in your life. But what you need is to heal. What you need is a more healthier relationship. It's like, oh, I want this man that cheated on me 5, 6, 7 times, that has disrespected me, called me out my name. But you don't want him, baby. You want the comfortability and you want the stability that you built with him, not him particularly. You want what you put your work and time to. You want all the energy you put your time into, but you don't need that. What you need is solitude. What you need is a peace of mind. What you need is to heal. But so that's what I mean by changing your vocabulary when you speak to yourself, because it will constantly be like, I want to call him. I want to hang out with him. I want him to come over. I want him to do this. No, baby. What you want is intimacy. What you need is healthy intimacy, healthy communication. I think what us humans do, we know subconsciously what we need, but we want it out of people and objects that are not going to suffice what we actually need to get that substance that will fulfill us. And so a lot of times when we're talking to ourselves, or we're talking to a higher power, or we're talking to God, we are asking for the wrong things. And another issue is when we ask for these things, we are expecting to get it in the forms that we want to get it in. One thing I've learned living on this planet, God is always going to come through. I have asked God 1,000 things, 1,000 different ways, in 1,000 different words. And even though I would like for him to pour into me at that moment in time as I'm grieving to him, but that doesn't mean that he has never given me the answer that I have ever desired. Every question I've ever asked my higher power, I have always received. Was it that day? Maybe not. Was it that week, that month, that year? Maybe not. But I've always received the answer I ever questioned. Sometimes you'll find it within yourself. You'll find it on a lovely sunny day, walking down the street, and you see a flower, be like, that's the answer. You can find what you need in anything. But the problem is that we want to find what we need in the things that do not provide us with joy. To the things that are sucking the life out of us, that are toxic towards us. We would rather find love, compassion, happiness, companionship within the devil than with our own Father of God. Make it make sense. We rather would sit in a room that is full with so much darkness that you can't even see a shimmer of light than sit in that LED light room that is bright as hell and has all the joy and love you will ever need when it comes to this planet. I'm sorry to say this to you if you are going through a heartbreak, if you are grieving or going through a situation right now, or some type of pain. Whatever you think you want, whatever you think is best for you to end the misery you're going, that is not the answer. Because 9 times out of 10, the correct answer is the one that is going to take a long time to get to instead of temporary satisfaction. If you keep constantly looking for temporary satisfaction instead of true happiness, you will spend the rest of your entire life searching for small things that will give you joy instead of the true form of love that you deserve. A lot of ways happiness, compassion, and love can be addiction. And it takes you as a human being to see whether or not are you chasing after lust? Are you chasing after being desired? Are you chasing after being seen? Or are you chasing after substance, growth, evolving? You got to listen to how these words are different. You have to listen to how these words mean two different things. All of them at the end of the day are powerful, but you need to chase the substance over the lust. You need to chase the fulfillment over the temporary satisfaction. In a lot of ways, these words can have a blurred line where they look like the same thing, where they feel like the same thing. But deep down, if you're in a situation, you know which one is really fulfilling you and what's not bringing you any joy at all. And at the end of the day, we all desire to be with the utmost opportunity we can ever possibly get. I'm not saying it has to be perfect. I'm not saying that it has to be extraordinary. But as long as you leave the situation being fulfilled, as long as you're in the situation feeling loved, feeling joy and happiness, that's all that matters. The person does not have to be perfect. The opportunity does not have to be perfect, but it has to fulfill you in some way. And that is what I mean by actively healing and being stagnant within your grief. Because if you actively heal, you will know and understand that everything that you were presented to was not of value to you. If you are stagnant within your healing, every situation you have now and in the future will constantly feel like as if you're not growing at all and as if you are not evolving as a human being because you have not done the work. And so a lot of people would choose complacency of where they're at in their self-love, in their healing, in their insecurities, in their pain, that they'll go person to person to person, trauma dumping on each other, trauma bonding, instead of with each person you heal a little bit more. With each person you feel better a little bit more. That's how you grow as a human being. That's how you become fulfilled as a human being. When you get to the partner that you are destined to be with and y'all both feel complete together. There's no energy being sucked. There's no toxicity. There's no trauma dumping. It's y'all both feel like y'all on the same page, same chapter, and same sentence. I'm not saying y'all can't be two different people, but y'all need to understand each other as people. And until you can find somebody that can understand you as a person, you will constantly be complacent within your grief. So actively heal whatever pain you have, whether if you're single or you're in a relationship, whether if you're dating or talking, actively find ways to heal yourself so that whenever it comes to a time where you need to settle down and be with somebody you love, you can give them your entire heart like they deserve, and vice versa.